Prodigal Steve returns to the darkest dungeon. How's it going, everybody? Last week we went to the Cove on a leveling mission. We came back with a ton of disease. This week we're going to do the same, except hopefully less disease. We're going to run our Abomination party in a little bit of a different order here, since I want both of our Abominations to be able to Blight and also Stun. And then our front Abomination will be able to transform and use Rake or Rage or Slam as necessary. Although I would prefer not to use Slam because it does move him forward one, but it's not the end of the world. So our Man-at-Arms is going to be doing a little bit of stunning. Additionally, Bellow, he'll probably be guarding our Occultist a little bit and then Crush as necessary. I have him with the Ancestors map for scouting chance, and then the Sun Ring just for added damage, although we are already going to be getting increased damage thanks to the Gentle Tide town event. Hey, get out of here. Restraining Padlock and Padlock of Transference here on our front Abomination, and then the Lock of Fury instead of the Restraining Padlock on our back Abomination, since he is unlikely to be transforming, since he can't use most of his transformed skills from that position, but obviously still the Padlock of Transference for that Blight chance. Then Junia's Head and the Ethereal Crucifix back here on our Occultist, with the intention of using Abyssal Artillery and Demon's Pull for additional damage, and then healing as necessary. Between Eldritch Hater, the Ethereal Crucifix, and then the Gentle Tide bonus, I imagine that we will be doing a fair amount of damage to the back ranks there with our Occultist. I'm going to bring 12 food. We are not in a position financially that I would describe as destitute, so I feel okay about bringing a decent amount of food just to be on the safe side regarding hunger checks. We probably shouldn't need too much else. Yeah, this should be fine, I think. Food, a couple shovels, torches, a single key, medicinal herbs, bandages, a couple of anti-venom just to have. Alright, I think we're good. I'm a little out of sorts, if I'm being honest. I've spent most of this morning, I mean, it's afternoon now, but I did spend most of the morning dealing with frame rate issues and the game's stuttering a little bit. I don't know if it's still doing it. Yeah, as you can see when I close a hero panel, that the skill selects stay up on the screen, and it's actually looking a lot better than it was earlier. Like, it would visibly hitch every time I opened or closed one of the town buildings, every time I opened or closed a hero panel. Basically, anytime I did anything, I got just the worst frame rate issues. Or it wasn't even a frame rate issue necessarily. It was almost exclusively just like Hitch. The game would just stutter really bad and then catch up. Alright, well, we gotta get rid of this Thrall somehow, but I'm not sure how we're going to do that. These two are going to die to their Blight, so I guess we can Weakening Curse him for 6. Why are your skills in that order? Alright, well, we're going to have to sort that out. 8 to 16, assuming he hits, we've one turn killed, like, this entire battle, I guess. Not necessarily the way that I intended to phrase that, but I suspect that you know what I'm talking about. Alright, we got a single torch. Let's redo these skills real quick. Alright, I want this. Yeah, actually, I want them in that exact order. There we go. That's fine. Yeah, no, regarding the frame rate issues, I've done basically everything that I can imagine to sort them out, or I guess the stuttering, rather. Aside, like, I've verified the game's integrity. I have done a manual reinstall of video drivers. I have ran both Steam and Darkest Dungeon as an administrator in every possible combination, and basically nothing has seemed to help. So I'm not really sure how to completely fix this issue. Maybe I just have to wait for the next hotfix on the game. I think I'll try a full uninstall, reinstall after this episode. So I apologize for any visual tics that we have in this episode, but I hope to have them sorted out by next time. All right, how are we looking? You are going to die to your blight. You are not. Our occultist is stunned. All right, well, let's blight these two again, and then we'll use manacles to kill the thrall.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own.
There we go, beautiful.
For death by inches.
Okay, well, this party is going substantially better than our
The light, the promise
recent
of
trip to
safety.
the Cove, where... Was it the Cove? Where we were very, very survivable, but it took forever to clear each combat? Could be. I'm so mind-flooded right now. Which is, admittedly, if I'm being honest, partially why I chose to do this short mission as opposed to going to the Warrens and having to try and think my way through a long mission. I don't know that I have the wherewithal for that at this point in time. And this mission will actually level up all of these units, so it's actually fine. And it is going to push one of our abominations up to rank 3. Or to level 3, I suppose. Which isn't strictly what we want. Like, I would like to keep them all close, so ensuring that there isn't a gigantic experience spread between any of them is, I think, prudent. Alright, we should probably start healing a little bit with our occultist before we get too far behind on that. Alright, so you are going to die to your blight. You are not. But now you will? Yes, okay, excellent. So we just have this cutthroat to worry about. 7 to 14, assuming we hit here, we'll sort this battle out by the end of the turn. Brilliantly done. We'll take our portraits and our pittance of gold and move forward. What are we doing? 90% of rooms, okay. Hey, what next? You stop barking so that I can enter doorways, please. That's a huge scout, actually. I'm going to assume that we're not going to need 2 shovels in this single hallway. So I'll come up here and explore this empty room. Take all this. What's his journal say? Alright, you know, I'm going to endeavor to bring the second page of Darius's journal back with us this time. That way we can stop encountering it. If there was ever a mission to care about journals, now is the time, I imagine. We're not probably going to make a ton of gold on this one, but we're going to get the important aspect of this mission, i.e. a level on all 4 of these heroes, and having some higher level abominations is going to be welcome. And this is actually going to be a very, very simple mission by the looks of it. Take all of that.
Could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Alright, what do we have as far as trap disarm goes? A big old pile of nothing, essentially. Okay, fair enough. Do that. Enter this empty room. Make progress. I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning of the episode, but I did submit the 3 heroes from last week who came back with diseases. Reynald, Drew, and Who's the third one? Was it... I actually genuinely don't remember. I know we had 3 units who had disease, and all 3 of them are in the sanitarium at present, so...
Ambushed by foul invention.
Go ahead and get rid of that debuff. Should leave them available for next week, because I don't think any of them have negative quirks that we're overly concerned about. I think they mostly just have stress treatment related quirks, so...
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Roster is by and large in a good position. This is actually going to be the first battle that's somewhat difficult with that stress dealer in the back, although this is going to be a great test for our occultist. I completely blanked. Alright, so this is plus 25% damage against Eldritch, 9 to 14 with a 14.5% chance to crit. Yeah.
Obliterated.
Okay, well then. 3 damage. What's this? 3 to 6. That is not nearly enough. So let's just blight. And then we can do a crush here, and then we'll just have to leave the guardian as is, which isn't necessarily my favorite thing to do. I would have liked to be able to stun him, but you know, taking 5 damage and a bleed isn't the end of the world, especially because we could just go ahead and stun him now. The issue, of course, that this presents us with is we don't have a ton of front rank damage with this party without transforming. Go ahead and do that. What are we looking at? 15. And we have no DOT, I don't think, that can hit the front rank. So it's a very unusual position to find ourselves in, since normally you encounter a scenario that's the exact opposite. You're very able to deal with the front couple of ranks, but almost, or actually completely unable to touch the front or the back 2 ranks, or the back absolute back rank, certainly. All right, take all of this. We'll go ahead and treat this abomination's bleed. We'll open this strong box, which is trapped, which is why we brought the anti-venom. Actually, I brought the anti-venom for the maggots specifically, but there was the potential for blight going into the cove, which is why I only brought a handful, because the blight chances are few and far between. Let's go into this last room, and we have the supplies to keep looking around, so I will endeavor to locate our secret room. I don't imagine we will find it, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And we found another hallway battle, and a trap is spawned in behind us, which is, you know, a little much, I think, but
Spirits are lifted. And purpose is made
not the end of the world. And honestly, the more hallway battles that we encounter while looking for our secret room, the better, since it means more treasure, probably. And again, not the focus of this run necessarily, but I always welcome additional gold and or heirlooms. Alright, so you're gonna die to your blight. You are not quite... Can we stun you and knock you back so you're in a position to be blighted next turn? Because that would be fantastic. And we'll just ignore the Stinger, who's actually going to die on its next action. So
Continue the onslaught. Destroy.
It seems fine.
All.
We just need 1 damage on this thing now, which should be right there, and it is indeed.
Press this advantage. Give them
So
no
as soon as that
cover.
maggot gets his action, he's actually going to perish. But just to seal the deal, we'll give him a weakening curse, and then we'll crush him before the blight even gets a chance.
Faint hope blossoms.
Fair enough. Alright, so we have a stun stone here, which is interesting. think we get rid of the holy water because it's the least useful out of this remaining supply items. We're just gonna go. I mean, I think we could have used it on that altar for stress relief. But that's not strictly necessary. We're actually doing okay stress-wise. I would love to get into some of those chests, but we were actually out of shovels. I'm gonna walk back to this room again, just because I feel like entering and exiting this room is going to have the best chances of scouting a secret door, since it's connected to the most possible hallways. Maybe even just walk back and forth between these two rooms. See what that does for us. We only have one more hunger check available to us, so probably not going to be doing this too much longer. I think maybe just go all the way up to the top room there. See what that does for us.
The match is struck.
I expect that it'll
blazing
do
star is
basically
born.
nothing for us, but I'm willing to give it a shot. I would love some more combats if the game could see fit to make that happen. Would be appreciative. Still no scouting, which again shouldn't be overly surprising with only the Ancestors map and no scouting quirks, at least not for the Cove. I think one of these has like a wield. We have Cove Adventure, which is reduced stress. Warrens, wield, scouting. Yeah, okay. There we go. I was remembering the quirks correctly. All right, we're down to our very last torch. And we are now out of food. So this battle will be our last. We'll enter this final room, assuming we encounter... If we scout the secret door, we'll go to it. But beyond that, we'll call this one done. Go ahead and... Excuse me? Oh. Maybe if I clicked on the correct enemy, this would work a little bit better for us. 9 damage on the Fusilier. Was really hoping that our man-at-arms would get to move before him, but it's irrelevant because he actually missed all of us, which is fantastic. 29 HP. At least we can blight him, since we are, in fact, or since he's he takes up 2 spaces. You know what I'm trying to say. We have to weakening curse him though with the occultist, which isn't necessarily where we want to be, but we're going to have just a ridiculous amount of blight stacked up on this poor guy. 1 more damage would have done it. How many bleeds? Just 1, I think? No? Everybody resisted the bleed. Fantastic. Alright, well, be gone with you.
Alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
We have located more torches. Not the most useful thing without any food, though. So yeah, let's go ahead and go back to the hamlet now. We gave it our best to try and find the secret door. Nothing doing now.
We will
There we
find
go.
all manner of great and terrible things in this
8,000
watery
gold,
tomb.
20 crests. That's actually supremely useful, and no diseases. Oh, 2 heroes actually hit level 3 and no negative quirks. You're all too kind to me, truly.
Your soldiers' minds are mired in
Dark is rising. Despondency and ambivalence seem to be on the wind. Many adventurers confess to having a troubled disposition, even here in the relative safety of the hamlet. Minus 15% virtue chance on next quest. Fair enough. All that means is we have to avoid having resolve checks. Not necessarily a problem. Okay, well. Let's go ahead and unequip all trinkets. Sort them. We actually don't need stress relief on basically anyone. Get out of here. So I have no idea what we're going to do next time. Probably not a boss battle, just to be on the safe side. But we'll see. We might actually be able to take... So they need 4 experience each. I don't really want to take them on a level, like on a medium veteran mission, but we probably could make that happen. Assuming we could afford to upgrade all of their skills and equipment. Either way, let's trade portraits for busts, and then trade deeds for busts as well, since we actually have a fair number of crests. How's the Abbey looking? We need 23 busts and 29 crests. Alright, so we can actually trade like 16? I guess it's a little bit closer. Sure, okay. Very, very near to finishing the final Hamlet upgrade, which is exciting. For now, though, that is going to do it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button. As always, feedback is welcome in the comments below. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And I will see you next time.